I've never gone below a 50 at this point. How am I doing on 49.3? And I managed to lead the race. And I'm pretty fed up with safety cars at this point.
And a big crash. Oh my goodness me, more contact there.
That's when the sort of tears start forming up.
And that's for the net lead of the race. There's about 2 inches between them. Brilliant stuff. What a battle this has been.
Hi, I'm Thomas Fleming. I'm based in the UK. Currently a GT driver for Garage 59, competing in GT World Challenge, the European Le Mans Series with GR Racing, and also I've done a little bit of LMP3 this year with a collaboration with Nielsen Racing and Essen Le Mans Cup. My epic racing story surrounds the Finale Mondiale of Ferrari Challenge in 2023. So yeah, going into Super Pole, sun was setting, everything was very quiet, a couple of people had started to fill up the grandstands, and there was a lot of pressure. There was a lot of pressure because I wanted to win the Finale Mondiale, having not been able to win the championship more than anything. More than absolutely anything in the world.
And it's Super Pole, a 10-minute session for 6 drivers to ascertain who will be pole position when it comes to the world final race tomorrow. Here's Tom Fleming. Sector 1, Sector 2 are both purple sectors to the best of my knowledge. I think he's kept it within the white lines, unlike some other drivers, and therefore the lap time that Tom Fleming is on should count. So Tom Fleming absolutely going for it.
And I'm driving around and I have a look at my dash coming out the last corner. I'm like, I'm doing a 49.3. I've never gone below a 50 at this point. How am I doing on 49.3?
Championship in his first competitive year of racing here in the Ferrari Challenge. Rounds the final turn. Buries the accelerator pedal through the floor as he heads towards the timing line. Let's see what sort of a time this is going to be. Target is a 1:49.770. And he delivers a 1:49.395.
And I got the call over the radio to say that I was P1 by 0.3 of a second to Donno. And I just couldn't fathom it. I just couldn't have fathomed it. So I was so happy, so unbelievably happy. Perfect place to be into the Finale Mondiale come tomorrow. P1, open road in front of me, and there's about 15,000 people in the grandstand on the grass bankings as you're going round. I'm like, I've never had this many spectators. This is like a proper atmosphere which is going on at the moment. There's a really good buzz to this event. We come up towards the lights, and the run down to turn 1 at Mugello is very long. So I've come out, lights gone green.
So it looked like Mark Muso's a little bit out of position on the grid then as we do get the gut go. It's a very good start from Eliseo Donno. But Tom Fleming in the second stage of that start.
Bensvillin has got a mega start behind me and he's actually pushing me to begin with. And so I go to focus on Donno to make sure that he doesn't squeeze me too tightly. Benz has, right, I've had enough of this, goes to the inside of me. I'd done a lot of research going into this race on previous Finale Mondiale races that had happened at Mugello, and I'd known that the front 2 guys going into turn 1 are always going to have who can break the latest competition and not really think about what the compromise of that is for the other cars behind.
To have the measure as all these cars, and Bensvillin on the inside. Tom Fleming gets a squeeze from Eliseo Donno, and he had Bensvillin.
And I break about 5 meters earlier than the front 2 row of Bensvillin on the inside and Eliseo Donno. And they just go clean sailing off the track, just super deep in the corner. I hold it tight, and just by an absolute whisker, I'm able to slot in just in front.
To his inside, Eliseo Donno running wide now. Tom Fleming coming back on Bensvillin, and he does have the inside going into the chicane.
And I managed to lead the race. And then I come out of the second chicane, and I've just got this massive gap, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm away. The race is always where I'm at my strongest, so this is the perfect dream scenario. And then absolute chaos ensues behind me.
I said could be a danger man. He is up into almost a P2, and a big crash, Tony Verlander, and I think Franz Hensler might have been involved in that. For sure, we'll see a safety car. Big sideways moment for Matt Krajewski, and Ben Svalin all over the track, and as you can see, oh my goodness me, more contact there, and a couple of our North American drivers have been nerfed.
People are just crashing, throwing it off left, right and centre. There's about probably over 500,000's worth of damage 488s going on in the background, and I'm not aware to any of it. And they go safety car and instantly head to the red flag. Donno then gets a leapfrog up into P2, and I see him line up behind me into the pit lane. I'm just like, God, not this guy again. Yeah, we've been duking out all season. I thought maybe I'd just had a break from him because he'd been shuffled back to P3 after the start. But no, just out of pure coincidence, he ended up coming back to P2. Thankfully, we didn't have to do another rolling start like that. It was just a single file restart. But it was about a 50-minute wait then. A 50-minute worth of just constant buzz from the crowd on the outside. And I desperately needed a piss. I don't know if I can say that, but I desperately needed a piss. But I was quite particular with how everything felt in the car during that time, you know, quite early on. The belts, the lap belts were just right, the shoulder belts were just right, seating position was just right, steering wheel was just right. So I knew that if I got out the car, there'd be a chance of coming back in the car, not being 100% comfortable or giving my chance to overthink it. I was quite the overthinker back then. And so 50 minutes had passed, felt like an absolute lifetime, especially in those cars where all the heat gets soaked in and you're just gasping for some cold air. We head back out and we do a rolling start. I managed to get out the last corner pretty well and have a decent gap. And I built the gap up to a second within the first lap, and I was like, cool, we're all right now. Safety car. Oh my God. Then we go for the restart again.
Let's see how we do going into turn number 1 then. Here come all the drivers. So Eliseo Donno to the outside of Tom Fleming. Adrian Sutil will try and dive to the inside.
This time, Donno's a little bit closer this time. I defended to turn 1, but apart from that, everything's okay. Managed to go round, and a couple of minutes of racing goes by, about 5 minutes or so.
Balka soon, and that gets lively as well, and Tony Davis goes around, and so too does Michael Porter.
Safety car, and this is with about 5 minutes remaining, and I'm pretty fed up with safety cars at this point. I would just like the race to just continue, go on, and not have the stress of having to be in charge of a restart, because this is going to be my 4th start now. And so there's only so many tricks you can have up your sleeve to not become then predictable. And the last thing you want to do is be predictable just before the longest straight on the calendar. And I started weaving on the restart just so that he wasn't able to get close enough behind me. Basically what I did was accelerate and brake, and you have these massive rear view lights which are similar to the road car, which shows when you're accelerating and brake. And I then bury my foot in it, but then hold the brake as well, as if it looks like I'm still braking, but I'm actually building up the turbocharge for a split second, and then release the brake out of nowhere. I managed to get a bit of a jump coming out the corner, and then Donno's catching up in the slipstream again. I have to defend into turn 1, and I've just held on to it for the second to last lap, and then we come on to the last lap. It's about a second worth of advantage. I'm just looking in my mirrors all the time, making sure that he's not got some crazy run going down the front straight. I get a little bit sideways through the first chicane on top of the curb. I'm just ragging the absolutely everything out of this car for just one more lap, and I was sort of succumbing to the realization of the moment, if that makes sense. You know, I was about half a lap away or 2 sectors away from winning the Finale Mondiale, the goal that I'd sort of set out from the beginning of the year. I managed to come around the last corner. I've got my hand up in the air. All the guys at FF Corsa celebrating over the pit wall.
Tom Fleming will head towards the checkered flag. He's already celebrating because Tom Fleming from the UK becomes Ferrari Challenge Finale Mondiale World Final Champion.
Just amazing. Absolutely amazing. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I was the first driver to win the Finale Mondiale in his rookie year, especially in the pro class. It'd been such a long year of just, battling, focusing on one person all the time, on how, you're racing them. We had a couple of moments, and to win, I was left speechless, quite literally speechless, because my engineer, Michael Zelle, came over the radio and said, "Tom, we've not heard anything from you. Are you okay?" I just said, I just can't speak at this moment. And I'd come into the pits and I just didn't have any emotion whatsoever. I was almost in a state of shock. And then as I'm pulling in into the pit lane, and you've got the TV presenter there, and the number 1 board, and there's so many people surrounding that, and I'm able to spot out my family. That's when the sort of tears start forming up. And yeah, I'm never usually emotional, but like, motor racing means a lot to me. See my family there, giving them all a massive hug, because they'd been through the whole journey every step of the way. It was a really special moment. I was very, very touched, and I wasn't able to hold any tears back for the interview a couple minutes later as well. So yeah, ended up winning the Finale Mondiale, and when me and Donno ended on a really good note. We stepped on top of my car to grab a photo together, because we'd all had an amazing year together, battling one another, and that was the first part of sort of rekindling a friendship with him, because we ended up sharing a GT3 car together in GT World Challenge Sprint Cup the following year. So yeah, you never know how these things play out, but to stand on top of the podium with this massive disc trophy in gold was just out of this world. It's a memory I'm going to hold for the rest of my life for sure. Throughout my years in karting, I'd come quite close to being able to snag a decent result in these World Championship sort of events, and I just never quite got there, never really panned out. And so yeah, it was sort of like on that level of appreciation, if that makes sense, because throughout your life, this sort of World Championship concept that these organisers put on is at the top of your priority list, because it's a one-off race with absolute chaos and everyone chucks everything at it, and if you come out on top, you are world champion. So yeah, to be able to attain something like that in my first year of car racing was just phenomenal.